So what did the Emancipation Proclamation actually do? We're taught in school that it emancipated individuals who were enslaved, when in fact it did not free a single individual. If you were enslaved in the border states, Maryland, Delaware, Kentucky, Missouri, or anywhere where the Union was already in control, New Orleans, certain parts of the Hampton Roads area, January 1st, 1863, you would still be enslaved. Those areas were exempt. This document only affected those individuals in states that were in rebellion to the Union. So what would have happened if by December 31st, 1862, those Confederate states had come back to the Union? They would have still had their peculiar institution of slavery. And this Emancipation Proclamation, as critical as we see it today, at that point in time, it was merely a worthless and unenforceable document short of a Union victory on the battlefield. So if the Union didn't win this war, that document would have meant absolutely nothing. But there was one small clause in Mr. Lincoln's January 1st version essentially said this: any man of African descent who wants to fight for the Union Army or the Union Navy will be allowed to do so. Now, wait a minute. Blacks had been defending this country since the Revolutionary War. But now, for the first time in U.S. military history, they were able to do it on a legal basis. Over 209,000 men of color, 38,000 of them died in the process, said, you know what? We'll put our bodies on the line for this unenforceable document. And they were willing to defend this country when this country was not so willing to defend them. Now, Frederick Douglass was very instrumental in recruiting troops for both the 54th and 55th Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, amongst the first 23 individuals he recruited, 2 of those individuals were his own sons, Lewis and Charles Douglas. When General Grant became general over all of the armies in March of 1864, one of the first things he did was to call in the 25th Army Corps. With the exception of its officers, the 25th Army Corps was all black. When Richmond fell in April of 1865, amongst the first to walk into the city was the 25th Army Corps. As a result of the performance of African Americans who fought in the American Civil War, after the war, the United States military authorized black units. They were segregated, but they were authorized. It started out with 6 units, but eventually became 4. The 24th and 25th Infantry, and the 9th and 10th Cavalry. We know them as the Buffalo Soldiers. African Americans would go on to defend this country, and all of those who ever did are standing on the shoulders of those USCTs and black sailors of the American Civil War. This is John W. McCaskill, History Alive.